this and that. And then I had books. That was the day I sent you those Spider-Man books.
Oh, yeah.
And then the guy was like, "Oh yeah, I'll ring you up." And then I asked him to like check the price for a couple cards too. Yeah. And he just rings me up for the books, and that's it. And I was like, "Well, I guess I didn't need the cards."
Yeah, they're cool over there. I'm definitely finding that I prefer Crush over any of the other ones I go to. Because they go very heavy over there at Crush. I've only bought one actual cover because I just really liked the cover. It was the Daredevil that just came out this past week. Was just the cover was amazing, but every other one I bought was a variant cover.
Yeah,
like every other one.
I got the Judgment Day. Should we start and then talk about this?
I just started. I just pressed record, so we're good.
Yeah, I bought the Judgment Day books.
The number 4?
Yeah, number 4. And they have a variant that's like it usually has like 3 characters on there, and some are like soft, like drawn and everything. And I got that for issue 2 and 4, but issue 3 they had a Scotty Young one, and I love like his baby versions.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting that one, even though I saw it in the other one. So now I got a variant of issue 1, 2 of the same artist for issue 2 and 4, and then at issue 3.
For 4, I got they have this really nice. It's like a really soft kind of one of like Captain America by himself with just holding his shield on the cover. That's one I got. But everything else, I got a. Oh, last week they had did you see the All Out Avengers story? It's a new Avengers story. But Blade's on the team.
Okay.
And so they had a Scotty Young variant, and it's just Blade on the cover with his swords out, just coming down. It was dope. But yeah, anytime I see a Scotty Young variant, I go for it.
Yeah, that immediately gets priority over everything else.
I will always grab it. As long as I don't already have the story, I'll grab it.
I'm actually planning on getting one of his covers as like a tattoo. I'm just trying to finalize like the background of what I want, but it's just Spider-Man hanging upside down on a web.
From a while ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think my favorite one that I like always picture of when I always picture when I think of like Scotty Young covers is he had like one of Daredevil like years ago, and he's like kind of like line walking over like it looks probably a power line or whatever. But I don't know why I always think of that one first. But yeah, he's great.
I have a Moon Knight one that he did a few years ago too. And that one, I like that one because it's just like a moon, like a crescent moon, but his cape's stuck on it.
Actually, I think I might have grabbed that Scotty Young Judgment Day one too.
Issue 3? Yeah.
Or are they talking on the cover?
Yeah, and then the Celestials.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's the one I got too.
I think do you have the Thanos one too? From like a while back, it was just like Thanos sitting in like his throne.
No, I just have a screenshot of it. But
do I have it then?
I don't have that one.
I gotta look through it.
I got rid of a lot of my old comics that I picked up when I first started reading, like in 2012, 2013. I got rid of a lot of them.
What'd you do with them?
I just took them to Goodwill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they weren't. I looked online to see if they were stories that like people were looking for, because none of them are finished. The only ones I have that like a lot of is like X-Men, Legion. And I really, to be honest with you, the story wasn't great on those ones, but the covers,
I remember those ones.
Nuts. Yeah. Every single cover, and they weren't even variants; they were just like the actual cover. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but that guy was going nuts. And then, welcome back. We have been gone for a couple of weeks. We are back with another episode of the Webheads Podcast. It is me, Steven, everybody's favorite, at least on this side of the couch. And I'm here with my brother,
DeMarco. Back again.
Back again after a few weeks.
It's been a while.
We took since we've actually recorded, it's been maybe a month or so.
Has it been that long already?
I think so. Because we had some I had some family matters to take care of a few weeks ago, and then young DeMarco here's anniversary just passed. So we took a few weeks off. We needed it. Catch up on some stuff. Get ahead on some things. And we're back.
Yep.
Hello, hello, hello.
Listening up to this point, we've been talking comic books.
Yeah, talking comic books about what we've been reading lately. Some artists that we've been looking at, or that we know of. I was gonna say this artist that I just recently found when I was reading. I forgot what story I was reading, but he's a comic book artist. His name is Phil Noto. And can't remember what story I was reading that he was. Oh, no, wait, that wasn't it. Yeah, I can't remember what story he was doing, but this guy's art is really. I'm reading The Variants. It's a
the Jessica Jones one.
Yeah, and he does the art for it. He's really fucking good. I really like.
Does he do the cover art and the interior, or just interior? Because I've only seen the covers, and the covers seem nice.
He does. I think he does both.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like one of the panels.
Oh,
in there.
I like the like realistic kind of like when they get like real detail and everything.
Yeah, he. Yeah. This is one of the other ones.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just reading because there are 3 issues in on that one, on The Variants, the Jessica Jones story. And after the first one, I was like, who is this guy? So I started looking around. This guy's good. He's really good.
You know who else I like? Sarah Pacelli. She did the first run of she's co-creator of Miles Morales with Brian Michael Bendis. Mm-hmm. But I really like her art, and I really like the way she draws Spider-Man, especially like the eyes. She does like very like it's almost like I don't know, like a diamond shape, but like all of her art's really good. I think it's because she makes the eyes kind of big too.
Okay. And who else was it that I really liked? So this guy did a lot of like older stuff. Walt Simonson. That guy, I really liked this guy's work. It's if I'm being completely honest with you guys, doing this show, we read a ton of old shit, but I don't always pay attention to who the writer was or who the artists are for any of it. Just kind of read the story and go. But lately I've been, because I always see like on Reddit, like people are always talking about like their favorite artists or least favorite artists, and I'm like, I don't know really. Yeah. I know Jack Kirby's work. I know like John Romita's work, but those are really like the only 2 that I knew of. Like really, like Jack Kirby's work, I could pick out from somebody else's work, and most of like John Romita's work I could, but I never really paid attention to anything else except for John Romita Jr.'s work, and that guy's bad.
Who I like, Humberto Ramos.
I think I've heard of him.
He does like very. It's still like human-like, but he does. It's like almost cartoony because he does like very like exaggerated like faces, and like the art can be like very. I don't know how to describe it, but I every time I see his work, I know it's him.
Yeah, see, this is one of Walt Simonson's drawings.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And for like the 80s, 90s, for this kind of artwork, like,
yeah,
you weren't seeing a whole bunch of stuff like that.
I feel like
I could post this picture on.
We've read some
IG.
stuff where like I forgot what story it was, but like the art was like really good for that time, and I was hella surprised. 'Cause I was like, this has to be something from early 2000s or
Yeah. And so he, Walt Simonson, it was an artist, and he wrote some stories too. Some of the ones that we've done. Lately I've been going back onto our website, the Webheads Pod, and adding the artists and the writers for the stories into all the ones we do. That way, if people go back and they want to listen to our episodes that only Jack Kirby did or Walt Simonson did, I want to hear about the ones that John Romita drew. All that information is there for you guys now.
not John Romita Jr. though.
No, I'm just gonna lie to you guys on those ones and say that it was John Romita. That way, you guys still listen. But man, that guy, I don't know what is with that guy. I hate the way he draws Spider-Man. When he draws Spider-Man in the suit, nothing bad. Nothing bad at all. It's a little wonky. Not too bad. But then when he takes off Spider-Man's mask,
You know what his art
it
reminds
looks like
me
a
of?
lemonade.
Have you ever watched the Batman, that older cartoon from like the early 2000s, maybe like 2006, 2008?
I think so. Maybe like 1 or 2 episodes.
Bruce Wayne looks like him. All right, the way they draw Bruce Wayne looks like how he draws. Let me see if I can find it.
He makes everybody like. I feel like he tries to draw everybody to make them look like him.
Like, let me see. Can you see it from here? Like, that's how all of his faces look.
They're all like strong chins, like
Yeah, they're very like square. Like the heads are just everything. It's either a straight line that he draws or a square.
look at this Daredevil cover. Daredevil in the costume, not that bad, right?
Yeah.
And then look at Matt down below. It's like, yeah, like look at the Punisher. His head, and then his neck comes up like past his ears. What is that? But I say all of that like I can draw better than you can.
Like, we have no skills whatsoever, but
Not that. Some of it's wonky. Like, look at Spider-Man's leg on this one. Like, why is it curved like that?
Yeah, like some of his stuff isn't bad, but like other times it's just all I notice is like there's a cover. This cover. It's kind of blurry, but this cover. This is, I think, the first work I noticed that he ever did. And it's just so, like, Thor's face looks so, like, square.
Yeah.
Iron Man looks
That's
so square.
exactly how the Spider-Man looks in the new run that's going right now. It's just like, he can draw one face.
Yeah.
And then just add, like, he can change a few things. But that's literally Spider-Man's face in this new comic run. But, I don't know, guys. That's, to be honest with you guys, this is going to be a long one. So, we'll quickly get into what we've been doing the last couple of weeks. And then I'll give you guys a little shot of what's coming out comic-wise this week. And then we'll get into the story.
Okay.
So, what have you been up to the last few weeks?
Really just trying to get back into not reading a bunch of books, but just kind of picking up some things here and there, maybe some limited issues or just something that I thought would be cool to start reading. Trying to play a little bit more video games too. Just really trying to do things that make me happy.
Yeah.
I didn't start buying them again, but I bought some more cards, some more Pokemon cards. And yeah, not too much. Just taking care of myself, things that I like, mental health.
All right. Yeah, last few weeks I finally procured a PS5.
Oh, did it come?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so I finally got that. I've been playing. I don't have any games really. I have Madden, of course. Nothing has changed, just like always. When I bought the Miles Morales Spider-Man for the PS4, it came with the free upgrade to the PS5 at the time. So I've been playing that, which is fun. I thought, like, you know how you play a game for a really long time, you know every little move to do, and then you don't play it for a bit, and then when you put it back on, like a year later or whatever, and you're like, oh man, I'm gonna have to relearn kind of everything I did. I don't know what happened, but I jumped right back into that, and that was perfect. So I've been playing that. I've been going back, and I traded in my PS4 and my Xbox One that I had. I didn't get much for them, but the PS4 was like 5-6 years old, so whatever. So I have some credit at GameStop that I've been trying. I feel like it's been burning a hole in my pocket. I just want to spend it on something and just get it out of there. But I tried to go to GameStop yesterday because they just came out with these different color controllers. They have this purple one.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
And I really want it. But then they have an all black one too that I kind of want. And I don't need 3 controllers. And I'm not even sure I need 2 because I don't play with anybody else. But
it's nice to have a different one to use.
Yeah, because it's like sometimes it's like I'll be playing and then all of a sudden my controller is like, oh, you got to charge it. And I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'll put it on the chargers and I'll just go to sleep. And then, and then sometimes it's just like, okay, that one's dead. Let me turn that one off and then let me grab this one.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the only reason I want a second one. But it's like $70 for a new controller. Sometimes it's like,
yeah,
maybe I'll just wait. And there's not tons of games that I want to. I keep going back and forth. I might get NBA 2K23. I'm kind of leaning towards MLB The Show, but I'm not really 100% sure on it. Because, yeah, I don't know. I know new games that I really want are coming out immediately. They pushed back that Hogwarts Legacy game.
Is that supposed to come out this year?
I think it was supposed to come out in December originally. They pushed it to February. So, is that the NCAA football comes out next year.
You should play God of War. I heard that's pretty good.
The Valhalla one?
No, that's...
Or is that the new one?
That's Assassin's Creed. Oh no, yeah. Ragnarok is the new God of War.
That comes out in November,
yeah.
Right? Okay.
But I think the first one... I don't know if they... I mean, you can probably buy it for PS4 and play it on there.
I think they have the first one for the PS5.
It's backwards compatible, right? Like you can put your PS4.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, you should probably find like a cheap copy at GameStop or something and play. I heard it's hella good.
Have you played any of them?
No. But I know like the first ones that they came like for like the PS2, PS3 era, those were more like hack and slash. This one's more like over the shoulder, like third person. But I hear it's really good.
I might check it out. There's this other game called The Quarry.
I want to play that one.
I just saw a trailer for it yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, that looks pretty good." It's on sale at GameStop right now too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a toss up. Like I said, that store credit's just burning a hole in my pocket. It's like I got to get this shit out of here.
I know. I want to buy a game, but like, I just bought Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 because it was on sale for like $5.
Yeah, that one's pretty fun.
So I got that. I think I bought the remasters of Arkham Asylum. So it was the first and second one, and that one was like 15. So I bought all these games, and I'm just like, haven't played any of them really. But I want to get Splatoon because it looks fun.
I keep wanting to buy one every time it comes out, and then like, I'll wait, and I just never do. I bought for the Switch. I bought this game called Best Month Ever, and I don't know. It's like one of those pick and play kind of games where you kind of choose how the story goes. So it's like this mom just found out that she has like a month to live maybe, and she has like her like 7-year-old son with her. They're kind of like down on their luck, but she's trying to drive across the country to find her family and stuff, to find somewhere where the kid can stay after she dies. And you can kind of you pick the story for the most part, or how it goes. You could be a dick to people, be nice to them, but you're basically trying to, whatever you do as a mom is kind of influencing how the kid turns out at the end of it all. And it's good. It's short. Like, I played it consistently over like 2 or 3 days, maybe like 4 days, and I finished it. But it's pretty good. I kind of played it like how like I would react to those situations and saw how it would turn out. But now I want to go back to it and just be like a dick to everybody and see how it works. So yeah, I've been playing that one. It's just like random games that I found on TikTok. They're like, "Oh, check this out." So I did. It was good. It was only like $9.
Okay. Yeah. Switch has like some good cheap games sometimes.
Yeah. What else? Oh, so comic books this week. It's, for the 21st, which is tomorrow. We got Axe Judgment Day number 5, even though 4 just came out. Really good story.
That last, you read the number 4?
Yeah, I just finished it yesterday.
That last page, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I don't know what, and the story isn't finished for like another like month and a half, I think. Yeah. 2 months. So for the finish of number 4 to be what it was, and then for there still to be almost 2 months worth of stories left, I don't know what the hell gonna happen here. This is good though. Let's see. There's some other stories that I'm probably not gonna go through just because they're kind of further in. Edge of Spider-Verse number 4.
I've been reading those, and it's like, I probably shouldn't have read them.
It's not really any, like, I know it's leading to an event coming up, which I will get to at the end of today's story, actually, or maybe next week's second part of this story. But from what I understand, it is leading to something big. So we'll see. But yeah, these Edge of Spider-Verse stories are literally just introduced. Like, they spend like maybe 6 or 7 pages introducing like a Spider-Man that we've seen previously or a new one.
Yeah.
So they're not really anything special.
Yeah.
Iron Cat number 4 is coming out. Those have been really good.
I've been seeing those. I haven't touched them yet though.
Yeah. Iron Man and Black Cat, Felicia Hardy, just trying to live their life, and it's not going very well. The Mandalorian comics are out there. Number 3 is coming out. It's literally just a retelling of the show. So if you kind of like that stuff, go for it. X-Men Legends number 2 is coming out. That the first one was good. I liked it. And there's a new Exterminators comic coming out. Exterminators number 1. That should be good. That's it. It's a short week. I mean, for new stuff, it's a short week. I think that Exterminators one is the only number 1 of anything coming out this week. Not much. Some of these variant covers for Judgment Day number 5.
Yeah, look at those.
It's pretty nasty. But yeah, for September 21st, that's really all that's coming out. There's some other stuff. I have been reading some DC stuff.
How's that going?
It's not bad. I'm reading this Poison Ivy series. She is dying, and she plans on taking the whole world out with her. And she is unsurprisingly succeeding at all of that. There's these one-off stories called Batman One Bad Day. I sent you a picture of the one I just read. It was a Riddler.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this week there's a Penguin one coming out.
Okay.
And they're pretty thick stories. They're like that thick. It's like it's got to be at least 50, 60 pages.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And the first one I read was really good. And then last week I picked up Batman versus Robin.
Batman versus Robin.
Yeah. It was a #1 story, so I figured let me hop in. Never bought a Batman comic before, so. But this week, we have an older story for you guys. This is late 1980s. This is before DeMarco was born.
Before I was thought of.
After I was born. And I don't know how some of these stories were received at the time. I don't know if this was... I never know if any of these were like huge stories at the time. But...
Except for Secret Wars.
Secret Wars, Contest of Champions, stuff like that. But... like... yeah, a lot of it you can't tell. And it's... because it's like, I don't know if the love for it all is like a cult following kind of thing where it shows up later or 5 years later.
True.
Or if it was like, this has been love since the beginning. I don't know. But this story is... ooh, it's big. It's a big story.
And it's kind of like... Wait, pause.
Yeah.
Are we talking Inferno or are we talking...
Inferno.
Okay.
Yeah.
Repause or unpause.
I never paused. Yeah, we're talking Inferno.
Okay.
It's a huge story. For sure, 2-part story for us. And it's almost 2 stories in one.
Now, if I remember correctly, is this kind of like a semi-sequel to another...
This is a kind of a loose sequel to The Fall of the Mutants from a few weeks ago. Because they reference that whole thing a lot. And we're also still in... because this is, I want to say, about 1.5 years after Fall of the Mutants. Maybe a year. Give or take a few months. But this is still a time where everybody thinks the X-Men are dead still.
They're still in Australia?
Yeah. For part of the story, yeah. So the whole world still thinks they're dead. But when they pop up, it's like, because nobody in this whole world knows that they're they're alive still, because they still have that spell over them that just blocks them from anybody's view. And then what was it in Fall of the Mutants where they helped in the Evolutionary War, they helped the people of the Savage Land get their land back and everything.
Oh yeah.
And then at the end of it all, they're like, who was it? Destiny? I can't remember. They had somebody. Oh no, Psylocke. They had Psylocke just put a thing over everybody in the Savage Lands and forcing their minds to believe that just these random heroes saved their lives. Just completely took the whole memory out of everybody's mind. So nobody knows that the X-Men were there. That's a lot of fucking work. Why even bother saving people if you're just gonna have to go through all that after?
Well, the people still need saving.
I know, but there's hella other teams. You went all the way from I don't know how far Australia is from was it Antarctica?
Pretty far, because I mean, one's on the southern hemisphere, one's on the northern.
No.
Isn't Antarctica on top?
Then what's on the bottom?
I don't know.
Because the Savage Land's to the south.
Oh, so
at the bottom
not
of the
too
Earth.
far. I mean, relative to.
I don't know. Fuck all that. But yeah, so we're on Inferno this week. I wrote a little bit of a thing so we can kind of figure out where we are with all this before we actually get the story started. So in this story, here we are with Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, and Madelyne Pryor, the married couple with a son named Nathan. Sometimes people call him Christopher, I believe. I don't remember. But they kind of go back and forth in the story. But we're going to say Nathan right now. We've talked about Madelyne a little while back on the Fall of the Mutants episode. She was rolling around with the X-Men. Went up to save the whole world in the building. And everybody thinks that she's dead along with the X-Men. But we haven't really gotten into any of her backstory at all. I'm going to tell you here, it kind of comes up in the story as well, but so Madelyne Pryor is a woman who looks almost exactly like Jean Grey. So, of course, when Cyclops met her, he instantly fell for her. But one of the weird things about her is that she survived a fiery plane crash on the same day that Jean originally died during the Dark Phoenix saga. So when the Phoenix just completely dissipated and disappeared, at this exact same time, Madelyne was on a plane that crashed, and she was the only survivor. But we'll get into more of that later on. So after pushing all the weird stuff away, as a coincidence, Scott and Madelyne end up getting married. But not too long after that, Cyclops gets a call saying that Jean Grey was found alive, so he rushes off from his newlywed wife. And doesn't say a damn thing to her about where he's going. So when she figured out where he went, she told him, like, don't come back. Like, you left me at home to go find your ex-lover. Didn't even tell me that you were going to go find her. No, screw you. Don't come back.
Yeah, it's not like you just want to down the street.
No.
I heard someone's over at Safeway. Let me go over and check it out.
Oh, I heard my friends over at Safeway.
Like you just up and left.
Yeah. No, you hopped on the plane and took off, dude. Didn't even say anything. Yeah, of course she doesn't want you to come back. So, she told him not to come back. And then he said, okay. He gets back together with his old team. And then that's when they start calling themselves X Factor, which we've talked about a couple of times already. And when Scott tries to call home one day, Madelyne's phone is disconnected. He thinks, okay, she must really be pissed off. But what actually happened, she was attacked by Mr. Sinister's team, the Marauders. And for those of you who didn't know, that was in that... What episode was that? I don't remember. But we did an episode on it. And the Marauders were just murdering everybody in the Morlock tunnels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that was Mr. Sinister's team. And then when Cyclops goes back to home, he finds that Madelyne's house is for sale. Everything out of the house is just completely gone. And there is no sign of Madelyne or their son Nathan at this point. Like anywhere except for a baby rattle just sitting on the floor.
That's kind of messed up as like if you kidnap somebody and then you just put their house up for sale. Like, what realtor do you go through?
Take the girl, take the baby, put the house up for sale. He probably has a realtor on his team too.
That's such a weird person to have on your payroll.
That's his calling card. He's like,
his power is that he can just sell any house.
Yeah, it's like kidnap the whole family, sell the house. And he just has a realtor put it up for like $20.
Yeah, his realtor's like, his sign is like, I may not have powers, but I can sell you a house. Just on a park bench. And
oh man, I never even thought about that part of it. So yeah, Scott came home. The baby, Madelyne, the furniture, everything was gone. During all of this mess, Beast ended up turning human again, completely human, no changing back and forth. But then he also becomes, when he turns human, he also becomes stronger and dumber.
Oh yeah.
So that's what's going on in the beginning of this story. And Angel lost his wings in the mutant massacre. That's what the episode was, where the Marauders were going through, killing everybody. The mutant massacre. Angel lost his wings. Remember, he got stabbed through and stuck against the wall. And was given new metal wings by Apocalypse. And now he goes by the Dark Angel of Death. Despite all this, X-Factor still stands strong, having commandeered a sentient ship from Apocalypse. But we have some bad news here. Madelyne was in a coma in the hospital. She woke up and was again attacked by the Marauders in the hospital. And somehow saved by the X-Men that time. At the time, the X-Men weren't on speaking terms with X-Factor, so no one informed Cyclops of what was going on. But his brother Havoc was there to comfort Madelyne and help her through this whole thing, which is going to come up in this story. And soon after that, we hit the events of the Fall of the Mutants, which at the end of it led to the X-Men dying on live TV. And at that moment was the first time that Cyclops had seen Madelyne since they split. And now he needs to find his son. So he's on a mission to do that. The problem with letting the world think that you're dead is you have a lot of friends and family that are now grieving. One of the people grieving the most was Illyana, a.k.a. Magik, from the New Mutants. And as if she hasn't dealt with enough growing up being kidnapped for 7 years, taken to the timeless Limbo, the Limbo dimension, whatever you want to say it, by a demon named Belasco. She was tormented there by another demon named Sim. And then while she was there, she gained the knowledge and power to become the new leader of the Limbo. Did it with the Soul Sword. Did I say sword?
Yeah.
How do you say
sword?
Why is the W there?
I don't know. English is weird.
Yeah. So she did. She became the leader with the Soul Sword, made from a piece of her own soul. And then when she left Limbo, she found out that no time had passed since she had gone. It had been, in real time, it had been like hours that she was gone.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, and she was in there for 7 years. So she went in a little small 6-7-year-old kid.
Dang. Imagine just like seeing somebody and then a couple hours later, it's the same person but grown up.
Yeah, that's nuts.
How do you deal with that I know you're a mutant and you deal with a bunch of stuff, but how do you deal?
I don't know.
Is it just one more thing?
Well, that's what happened
top?
with the blip in the MCU, right? Kinda.
True.
Like people blipped away and then they had younger brothers and sisters and all of a sudden they blip back and their brother and sister is older than them now.
Yeah.
It's you just lost 5 years of your life, and you didn't even realize it. And you're what was that? Where they showed Yelena.
Oh, and Hawkeye.
Yeah, how for her it was just like seconds.
Yeah.
And then she comes out and there's a whole new family living in the place.
No, that's wild. I can't wrap my mind around like the turmoil you go through.
No. Because, I mean, we saw it in the movie, but it's like people grow older, you lose people in that time. Like Monica Rambeau lost her mom in that time, didn't even notice it or didn't know it. And her mom had been gone for years at that point. Yeah. Just to find out that you missed it all. Like, it's bad enough for like the people that are in prison and you're alive and you can't go out to like your father's funeral or whatever.
Yeah. But
to be gone for what you thought was seconds and then find out it was years and then you lose people.
And like, yeah.
No, I can't even imagine it.
Just like a blink.
Yeah.
And everything's different.
Nuts. Everything changed in 5 years.
Wild.
Yeah. What's crazy though is that in Hawkeye, when Yelena went through all that, the family that was in the house, like they seemed like they were living okay. But then when we were watching Endgame and they're showing like New York City looks like it'd been through the apocalypse.
Yeah, like New York had not like recovered at all from this.
Like the blip had to take like all of New York.
There are boats in the harbor just like crashing.
There's no trade workers in New York. Nobody that could fix anything. Like that place was devastated.
Yeah, and even in San Francisco when Scott was like walking through, there's houses that were just like look like nobody touched them in those 5 years.
Yeah, unless you took all of San Francisco, that place is overpopulated. Enough people could have bought those houses.
That was a seller's market.
Yeah. To be honest, it might have been a buyer's market. Those houses probably could have been going for half the cost. Just take it, please. The banks are probably dying to get people in those houses. And you're telling me that every house over there is overrun with weeds? I don't think so. I don't believe it. Sorry, Kevin. Let's see. Oh, and then next week we'll quickly talk about did you watch any of the D23 Marvel panel? We'll talk about some of that stuff. And
I got some opinions.
Me too. So yeah, she was Illyana Magik was kidnapped, taken to Limbo for 7 years in real time. For like normal people, it was only like a couple of hours. When she comes back after joining the New Mutants, she was able to gain more control over her black magic powers, but became more evil and evil as the time went on. And then as she would go on, when she would lose her shit, she would get she could feel herself transform more and more into this hooved, horned creature called the Dark Child, which is like the more evil side of her. So that was a little kind of understanding of some of the people that we're dealing with in the story. It's kind of, like I said, it's kind of a 2-part story based around Madelyne and Illyana.
Okay.
So 45 minutes in, let's get started. So the first story we're gonna read is Uncanny X-Men 239, and over in Manhattan, the demons are possessing inanimate objects around the city.
As one to do.
Yeah, and now those inanimate objects are killing random people. Somewhere else, we see Mr. Sinister is bickering back and forth with Malice because she can't separate from Polaris, who she recently took control of during the Mutant Massacre. For those who don't know, Polaris is Wanda and Pietro's sister. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But she doesn't get talked about a lot.
She kind of doesn't really. I mean, I don't read a lot of X-Men comics, but like Pietro and Wanda are normally off, like doing their own thing, and then she's kind of doing her own thing with like X-Men stories. So, yeah. They keep her separate a lot.
She was in X-Men Evolution though.
I don't remember
the show. That. Yeah, it was like she was in like 3 or 4 episodes.
I think she was also on that one X-Men show that came out like a few years ago on Fox. Forgot what it was called.
I haven't made it to that one yet. I'm watching Hulk and the Agents of Smash right now. Jesus. I'm going to start cutting it off after like 10 episodes of each show now. I can't do this anymore. I can tell if it's good after like 5 or 6 episodes. But yeah. Mr. Sinister is arguing back and forth with Malice, who recently took over Polaris when she took control of Polaris in the Mutant Massacre. But in the background of those two fighting, we see a little baby sleeping in a pod, and it's little Nathan Summers, who has recently been kidnapped by Mr. Sinister. And meanwhile, during all of this bickering, in a different area, we see Storm, who's searching through video footage on what I believe is to be Cerebro, on their little Australia camp. And she comes across an interview with Cyclops and Marvel Girl, Jean Grey, for those of you who don't know. And it's a very recent interview, and she starts freaking out. She runs to go tell Wolverine about it, and he stops her in her tracks, and he says he knew already. He picked up her scent a few times since she died on the moon in the Phoenix Saga, and Storm is pissed that he never said anything. So basically, Storm freaks out because she didn't know the Jean was alive this whole time. They're out in this Australian little camp that they have. They only have recorded news footage that they get like after the fact. And while they're out doing their X-Men stuff, Madelyne's usually there like getting the recording set and ready for them. But this is the first time that she's seen anything on Jean. So yeah, she's pissed off now that Wolverine kind of knew about it, but he didn't say anything. He never did though, because he thought he was gonna go crazy because he saw her die. He knew she was dead, and now he's picking up her scent. He never understood it. Elsewhere from where these two are at, Psylocke, Colossus, and Rogue are training together when at one point Psylocke knocks Rogue unconscious, but she quickly pops up to their surprise, and this happens because her body is inhabited by Rogue herself, and so Rogue right now is her body's inhabited by herself, Rogue, and Carol Danvers. And this happened in the last year of the X-Men story. But they have a long history where Rogue once fought Carol for Mystique. And when she made skin-to-skin contact with Carol, I think she was Miss Marvel at that point, she held on for too long, and she ended up taking her powers and her memories for good. So, but in the last year of this story, after walking through the Siege Perilous, this mystical key given to the X-Men by Roma at the end of the Fall of the Mutants, when they died. When Rogue walked through that, she was given 2 psyches, and now she and Carol can switch back and forth when one of them takes too much damage in the same body.
Interesting.
Yeah. So later on, we see that Madelyne is making moves on she's making moves on Alex Summers, Havoc, and because she's lost the love, he's lost the love of his life, and Cyclops left her and her child to fend for herself. So they're both kind of damaged people looking for some love here. He was in a relationship with Polaris, and now she's off with Mr. Sinister. He's lost her, so yeah. And then after a night of those two cuddled up together, she wakes up and has a meeting. She wakes up out of nowhere, and then she's met by this demon called Nastier. And she makes a bargain with him to... I don't know why. But she makes a bargain with him. But we only hear her end of it. And she wants the Marauders found because she thinks that they killed her son. She wants the Marauders killed because they kidnapped her son, and she wants to kill them herself. For her having no powers, I don't know why you would want to go against the Marauders of all people. I get that they took your son, but...
Yeah, when you make that bet with or that deal with the demon, that just sounds like he's going to screw you over in the end.
Yeah.
Like, he'll find them and then... give them to you at the most inopportune time. Like you're like taking a shit or something.
Pretty much. Hey, you're incapacitated? Here's the Marauders for you. Hey, it's not going to end well for you guys. So then we jump over to X Factor number 33. A news reporter is doing a live report about the strange things that have been happening around Manhattan when she gets attacked by a group called the Alliance of Evil. And it's a team of evil mutants put together by Apocalypse, and they had all just escaped prison. The Marvel Universe has the worst prison system ever. Actually, all comic universes have horrible prison systems.
Like, you literally build jails for superpowered beings, and yet they still break out.
Yeah. How has the Vulture made his way out of prison like 50 times? Like, you can't keep him in there?
There's no way these people should be able to get out.
No. I get it if you guys, like, in the beginning when Human Torch and Namor were going against each other. If you can't figure out a prison at that point, I get it. Like, this guy can just turn into fire.
Yeah.
I get that. But 40 years later, 50 years later.
And then they get out, and then it's like, well, they're out. There's, like, there's no man searches or anything.
Like...
They don't call in S.H.I.E.L.D. to, like,
you guys got to figure this shit out. And now that I just said what I said a minute ago, we're like 50 years into where we started a year ago, comic-wise. Because the first one we did was 1939, and this story's in 1989.
Wow. We made it through 50 years of comics.
50 years. It's a long-ass time. But, so yeah, those dummies got out of prison. With the Mutant Registration Act deadline coming up, Frenzy of the Alliance of Evil he walks up to the reporter, takes her mic, and tells the world, if you couldn't keep us in prison, what makes you think you can make us register?
Good point.
And yeah, not wrong. And then he issues a challenge to X Factor and tells them, why don't you guys try to stop us? So across town, Bobby Drake the Iceman, Jean Grey, and those two took the Young Mutants out clothes shopping because why not?
That's not Iceman should just keep that as like he should just be known as Bobby Iceman Drake.
Yeah, I really like saying Bobby Drake the Iceman. Every time I write his name, I will always write Bobby Drake the Iceman. That's a million times better than OJ the Juice Man.
You take care now.
Bye-bye. So, yeah, those two took out the Young Mutants to do some clothes shopping. Boom Boom and Rusty are trying on clothes when the sweater that Rusty puts on is trying to attack Boom Boom.
The sweater?
Yeah. So it's still another one of those inanimate objects coming to life, trying to kill people.
I mean, I guess it can strangle you, but I mean, of all things to possess, like you pick a sweater.
A sweater. Of all things. So the Iceman tries... the Iceman thinks that she's playing around, so he starts scolding her when this guy Tower of the Alliance of Evil goes into the store and attacks all of them. So meanwhile, hovering over the Atlantic in their sentient ship, aptly named Ship. Their ship's name is Ship. Cyclops is talking to Ship, trying to find any leads on where his son is. And when he sees on the TV that the Alliance of Evil is out looking for X-Factor, meanwhile, Beast now he's transforming back and forth between being Beast and Hank.
When he does that and he becomes less intelligent, does that just stays? So like if he goes back to his Beast form, his intelligence is still
no, isn't as I believe as his Beast form he it's like becoming human makes him dumb, so he goes down some, and then going back to Beast brings it back up some, but not completely to where he was before. No
matter what, he's just becoming more dumb.
Yeah. Throughout the story, I don't touch on it a lot, but throughout the story, it gets better, and he eventually just gets back to where he was before, but it takes him a while. Because mind you, this story is 14 issues over 9-10 months or something like that. So this man was dumb for a whole year. So yeah, Beast is transforming back and forth. Back in the city, Jean and Bobby Drake the Iceman, they're trying their best to fight. But right now they're outnumbered, so the New Mutants try their best to help, and everyone except Rusty, because right now he's wanted by the police for accidentally burning a woman, almost to death. He almost killed this lady, so he's just kind of staying back, staying out of it, which is weird because the cops aren't there. Like you can help your team. There's no news cameras here. You could help. Do something. So halfway across the country, and they are at the home of two young mutants with undiscovered powers, ready to kidnap the two of them. And they aren't quiet at all. So when their parents come in the room, the cyborgs gun them down, and now Nanny has two more kids for her collection of what she calls the Lost Boys and Girls. Nanny is a boy, or a male.
Is Nanny an orphan maker?
Nanny and orphan maker, yeah.
What a terrible name to give yourself. I specialize in killing parents.
That's all he does. What do you do, man? Just kill parents. Okay, all right. But they have to have little kids. Your kids are over 18, you're safe. I don't want anything to do with that. You got kids.
I have a line and I don't cross it.
You have kids under 18, you better watch your ass. So yeah, Nanny now has two more kids for his collection of the Lost Boys and Girls. He's clearly trying to one-up Peter Pan here by stealing, because Peter Pan doesn't steal girls. He only steals little boys. And so I guess Nanny's a little bit better. Equal opportunity. So basically, he's just basically like a cyborg Peter Pan. We jump back to Manhattan. Rusty is saying, well, fuck it. I'll make a mask, put it over my face so I can help my team out, because they're really getting their ass beat here. Then we jump over the Atlantic again. Cyclops is losing his mind, wishing that he could go help Jean and Bobby. Just then, Beast switches back to his blue Beast form, and he tells Cyclops all of a sudden he feels better than ever, and they need to go help the rest of the team. What seems like seconds later, Beast and Cyclops are already in the fight. And they end up handing the Alliance of Evil their asses pretty quick. After that, and seconds after the fight is over, Freedom Force shows up to arrest the Alliance of Evil, which is Mystique's little rogue team. Mystique warns X-Factor that the Mutant Registration Act is coming up soon, and you guys better sign that like ASAP, because otherwise I'm coming for you guys. X Factor decides to sign, but only using their code name, so they're only signing as Beast, Cyclops, Marvel Girl. Rusty tells Mystique to shove it, and he says, "I ain't signing no registration act because it's against his rights to be forced." But he'll turn himself in for burning the lady to try to clear his name. So I'm not going to sign your act. But you guys do already know my name. You already know my code name.
You're just going to register him anyways.
Yeah. Like, you're going to have to sign paperwork probably to get into jail anyways. They're probably just going to throw the registration act in front of you. Like, you're not going to get around it. So, yeah, he's like, I'll turn myself in to try to clear my name for burning that lady. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Cameron Hodge, formerly of the X Factor, now the leader of a group called The Right, is anticipating an arrival from Dark Angel, and he knows it's going to be a fight, and he's just waiting for Dark Angel so he can kill him. So that was X Factor 33, and then we go to X Factor 34 next. Dark Angel has spent some time searching for his lost lover, a woman named Candy Southern. Beautiful name. Which does sound, but it does sound completely made up, even for a comic book.
That sounds like a fake Southern name.
Yeah. And then when he gets to the Right headquarters, he smashes straight through the windows. We jump over to part of the team of the New Mutants, and we see Leech and Artie being flown to Nastier, the demon that Madelyne made the deal with. They're being flown to Nastier's hideout, and he's pissed because he specifically asked his demons for toddlers to be picked up and stolen. And they bring Artie and Leech, and those are they're like 10, 11 years old.
He like show up. He's like, "Hey kids, hey, go play, and we're just gonna have a talk real quick." What the fuck are these kids? Look at them, they're 10.
They got to be toddlers. In 3rd grade.
Do you know what a freaking toddler is? This kid's asking about milk and cookies.
This kid asked me how my day was. I don't know him. 2, that is not a toddler. He's talking to me.
Hey, look, you hired me. I'm an orphan maker. They're under 18. That's all I worry about.
Listen, they have parents. I killed them. I don't care about anything else.
You want me to pull up their birth certificate? They're kids. They all look the same to me.
So Nastier sends his demons to go back out and kidnap actual toddlers. And they come across this kid named Taki, and they bring him knowing that he isn't an infant. So they just completely say, forget it. And, well, this kid looks like he should be there, so let's just take him. Yeah, that happens, and then we go back to the Right headquarters, and a few floors from where Dark Angel bursts through the window. Hodge and a bunch of his demons that he's with they have Candy Southern laid out on a table, in shackles, knocked out, and this is where she's been for months. While Hodge has been experimenting on her this whole time, knowing that his whole play was just to get the Dark Angel there. And since Hodge knows the Dark Angel is coming and he's in the building, his plan is to kill Candy right in front of him. And we find out that the demons were sent to Hodge by their leader Nastier as protection in exchange for him helping them find mutant infants to power his spellbook. So Nastier is trying to find all these these toddlers to basically sacrifice them to power his spellbook in the end of it. Meanwhile, and Nanny and Orphan Maker are not part of Nastier's little collective.
They're just hired.
Yeah.
Guns.
Yeah. So, is that your stomach?
Yeah.
No. No food until we're done. Meanwhile, Nanny and Orphan Maker are still collecting kids when Nanny gets word that Hodge is helping demons collect kids, and her and Orphan Maker go to the rescue. So, and as Angel makes his way towards Hodge, Nastier appears in Hodge's face and asks why all of the info that he's received on mutants from Hodge has netted 0 mutants, and Hodge takes no blame for it. Hodge mentions that an orphanage in Nebraska should have some. And with that info, Nastier heads out and takes all of his demons with him and tells Hodge, if your info is good, you'll be granted immortality. If not, good luck with whatever you got going on, because I'm not here to help. So now Hodge has no demons to help protect him. And Hodge hears Dark Angel coming down from above, but he doesn't have a care in the world because he knows that his information is going to be good. We jump over to the Atlantic, above the Atlantic again. Jean shows up at ship, and she can't find anyone there. Ship informs her that all of the kids of the New Mutants have been sent to private school because it's school time. Beast is away helping the Avengers, and Cyclops got a lead on where his son is. So nobody's on the ship. It's just Jean at this point. Cyclops tried to leave alone, but Cyclops hadn't left the ship yet. But he was trying to leave alone so he felt like trying to find his son is a Cyclops thing, not a team thing. So he wanted to do it all alone. But Jean's like, no, I'm going with you. I love you. I'm not letting you do this alone. So over in Boston, we finally see inside the chamber room where Hodge and Candy are. Angel uses his blade wings to cut open the helmet of Hodge. And because Hodge is in like this complete getup, like you wouldn't be able to tell it was him. So Angel uses the blades on his wings to cut open the helmet to make sure that it's actually Hodge in there. And then now they're fighting back and forth. Angel asks, why have you gone to this length to get back at me and to capture Candy? And he says it's because she had the nerve to love a mutant, and her death is the price that needs to be paid. So I'm starting to see at this point why mutants are just kind of akin to like black people, like when you compare them, because it's just like you guys are fighting this hard to like not have these people be a part of your lives.
It's funny you say that because I was watching a video yesterday, and the video was about, I don't know if you saw, like Kiki Palmer, like people are like saying
being rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were talking about that, and the guy who made the video was saying it's funny that the X-Men had always been this metaphor for the civil rights movement and the way, black people are treated, or just different people are treated. Yet for the most part, besides Storm, there's no prominent black X-Men characters.
No. None.
They're all white.
What do we have? Bishop?
And he's Australian.
See?
And, I mean, Storm's black, but, like, she's from, where, Cairo, or...
Yeah, she's from an African country.
Yeah. So it's like, she still doesn't really...
I wouldn't even be mad at all if when they brought the X-Men into the MCU, if they changed every character into a black character.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be mad at it.
I feel like Iceman could be a black character. Yeah. Or a black actor.
Mm-hmm. But it's like none of their stories, except for like in the comics where Storm is like becomes married to Black Panther, stuff like that. Like, besides that kind of story, none of their other stories have anything to do with their race. So it's like, with how much they've always been compared to black people in the civil rights movement and almost kind of any generation. You can switch out X-Men and put in black people there, and the story doesn't change.
Yeah.
So it's like, am I gonna be mad at Rogue being black? No. You guys should make Gambit black too.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. If you don't make Gambit black, then you got to make him the guy that does that cooks the crawdads on TikTok. Y'all ready to play a game, dude? Here's an ace of spades, dude. There's no reason to not have him do it.
I think I would see a solo movie like that. That's the only reason I would want to see a solo Gambit movie.
I would watch that. Yeah, you gotta have him in there. Even if he doesn't play Gambit, you gotta have him in there. Just have him show up. Have Gambit show up at his house. Gambit, what's going on, dude? You ready to get cooking?
They do like in Falcon and the Winter Soldier where they were building the boat.
Yeah.
Montage. They just do a crawdad cook montage.
Yo, Gambit, cut off the tops of these orange juice, dude.
They're just chasing each other with crawdads.
It's time to flip the pot. Let's get going. So yeah, that. So Hodge tells Angel of the deal that he just made with Nastir, and then he pulls the plug on the machine that's keeping Candy alive. Angel completely loses it because it was like literally keeping her alive. Like he pulled the plug and she's gone at that point. Like she probably wasn't even really alive at that point. The machine was probably just keeping her breathing. So Angel loses it and he completely decapitates Hodge. And then Candy dies.
Damn.
Yeah. So then we jump over to X-Men 35. And we start off in Manhattan here. Again, Beast and the Iceman are battling a tanker that has come to life thanks to one of the demons. And then we jump over to Nebraska. And Jean and Cyclops arrive at the orphanage that Cyclops grew up in, and they're looking for baby Nathan. As they make their way through the building, it's as if no one is there. It's as if no one there can see them. One little girl is able to communicate with Jean telepathically, and she tells him to stay away from the basement. Don't go anywhere near the basement. So, of course, they head straight to the basement. And while they're on their way down, we see Orphan Maker and Nanny show up, and they're there to steal mutants. Mutant infants. See, these two know that they want infants, and they're going to get their infants. And so they head straight to the basement as well. When Cyclops and Jean make it to the basement where all of the infant mutants are and have been, they've been placed in these observation pods filled with this freezing liquid or whatever to keep them in stasis, I guess. Very quickly, Jean starts to hone her telepathic skills, and she can feel that baby Nathan is reaching out to her. And that sense of dread she felt coming to fruition she has like this sense of dread kind of enveloping, surrounding her. And that feeling comes to fruition. The strong feelings come to fruition as Nastir's demons join the party, looking to steal the mutant infants as well. So now we have Orphan and Nanny Maker at one point. Nastir's demons there to steal some mutant infants as well. And then Jean and Cyclops there to save Nathan.
So all these, they're all converging on...
Yeah.
You should call them mutant infants Mufants.
Mufants. They're here to steal mutants. Mutants only. So as they all start fighting, as the fight goes on, they learn that Nanny and Orphan Maker are taking mutants in an erroneous attempt to rescue them from the hatred of the world. So they're not.
So they think they're doing it.
They think they're doing it to save them from the heartache and pain that mutants would deal with otherwise.
Your name is Orphan Maker.
You're killing their parents.
You can't.
They're probably the two people that would love them the most in the world. You're killing. So your logic's not really adding up here. So damn, where did I go? So yeah, we learned that those two are there to save the mutant babies from the hatred of the world. But while the fight goes on, the demons are taking the infants by the boatload, and they finally get their hands on the most powerful infant there, baby Nathan. And once Jean finally gets her head on straight, she realizes that she still has like this mind link going with Nathan, and he's screaming for her help. And she tries to tell Cyclops they have to hurry because the demons are planning on killing him. So then we jump over to Exterminators #1. This is the first Exterminators comic, not the one that I was talking about in the beginning of the show.
Exterminate.
That comes out this week. Where are we? All right. Let's see. So we're on Exterminators #1. And yeah, this is a long ass story. I forgot. Spirit, leave me alone. I already sent that goddamn phone back. So yeah, now we're on Exterminators #1. X Factor needs to handle some things on their end, so they decide to send the young X Factor team. Sorry, X Factor needs to handle some things on their own, so they send the young mutants that have been staying with them back to boarding school, like I said a little bit earlier, until they come back. So they send Artie and Leech off to one, and the rest of the teens to a different one. And this is kind of happening at the same time where I said Artie and Leech had been kidnapped earlier. So this is kind of like happening at the same time. But the reading orders for this story was beyond annoying and confusing. So this is where we are. So they send Artie and Leech off to one, the rest of the teens to another, while Artie and Leech meet this little badass kid with a bad attitude. His name is Taki Matsuya, who is also in a wheelchair. After about a week, they have a day of school, go to bed, and then while they're sleeping, they're kidnapped by a group of demons from Limbo. And these demons are working with Sinister, like I said. And one of the demons that came to get them is this demon called Sim. He's going to come up a lot more in the story as we go forward. Sim told the rest of his demons they need to grab 13 children with immense powers. Taki sees Artie and Leech being kidnapped, so he tries to save them, but the demons just slap him away. When he tries to tell the adults of the school what happened, they try to reach out to X-Force, but all the lines are busy. Taki takes it upon himself to try to reach the X Factor, or did I just say X-Force?
Yeah.
Yeah. The adults at the school try to reach out to X Factor, but all of the lines were busy. Taki takes it upon himself to try to reach out to X Factor, and he gets hung up on. So he gets pissed off, and then suddenly as he gets pissed off, his wheelchair suddenly transforms into a ship, and then that's when he realizes that he's actually a mutant too. And then he turns his wheelchair into a helicopter, and then he just starts flying down the road to where the older New Mutants members are, to their school. And he's just outside of the school in his little helicopter screaming for the New Mutant kids to come out. And he just waits till he starts seeing windows open up. And then he tells the older kids, what happened to Artie and Leech, and they all hop in his helicopter. They take off.
Wait, so this turned into a full,
He can turn it into anything that he wants. So all he just thought about it having more seats, and more seats came up. So they say, yeah, let's go. They all hop in the helicopter, and they say, okay, but we got to make one stop. So they go over to the prison that Rusty is at. And they get to the prison, and they have no qualms, no problems about breaking into a federal prison and breaking somebody out. And they say it's because we're teenagers and nothing's really going to happen to us. So now that they've got Rusty out, Taki has turned himself into a spaceship, and then they just kind of fly off.
You can just stay a helicopter?
Nope. So we jump over to Exterminators 2. Meanwhile, all of that was happening. The demons are flying over to Nastier's hideout with Artie and Leech. Nastier keeps getting pissed off at this point because his demons keep bringing him non-toddlers. And this is a point in the story earlier where he gets pissed off because he brought almost teenagers. So he orders them. He just says, forget it. He orders for Artie and Leech to be killed. But then when they pull Leech away from Artie starts to project images of the X-Men and project images of where he's able to project images to the Exterminators team, which is now the New Mutants and Taki. He's able to project an image to them to show them where Artie and Leech are. So, so at this point, Nastier, realizing that he just gave up their location, tells the demons, just kill everybody. Just everybody here, just kill them. And he's like, I want it done now. So now the teenagers know that they need to make it into New York and save Artie and Leech, but they figure they're gonna need help, so they call X Factor, but they're still not picking up. They take off to New York anyways and realize that most of them are still in their pajamas, and Rusty's in his prison uniform. So they still have to stop. So they stop at a store. They steal some clothes, some nice 80s fits, looking real 89. And then when they're done, when they're done, they have Taki take his wheelchair and then turn it into an actual jet, and then they fly off even faster. They stop for a break after a while. After not finding the X Factor ship anywhere, they try calling again, still no luck. And then while the teens are trying to figure out the next step, Taki notices that he sees some demons across the street, so he goes to investigate by himself. No one notices that Taki did this and goes off by himself, and then he gets taken away, and they don't notice until he's up in the air screaming for help. And the teens try their best to help, but he's long gone by now. And the demons again brought him back to Nastier, and he's like, I told you idiots that I only want toddlers. And they say, well, his wheelchair has a computer on it, and it can process your spells faster. It can process your spells faster for you, and then you can become the king of Limbo.
Are you tired of processing your own spells? Buy an Apple.
Get an automated wheelchair.
Tons of processing power.
So, yeah, they say his wheelchair has a computer. It can process your spells faster than you could even think it. And now they're wheelchair salesmen.
Do they even know how to work a computer?
I don't know. I don't think so. So, we get over to Exterminators number 3. The teens go to the library hoping to find out more about demons and where they may be located when the book that they're reading comes alive and starts attacking them. So they've taken over sweaters, books. These demons are just in everything.
They haven't tried taking over lawnmowers.
No. They did take over a tank. But that's rather the worst. So Nastier tries to get Taki to give him a demonstration of his cool form-changing wheelchair. And he says, Taki says, I'd rather die than help you. And then the teens hop on the subway because now they have no way to get around other than public transportation. They get over to Queens, where I don't know how they knew where to go. Don't ask. But they get to Queens, where all the demons are, and the train comes to life as well, and then tries to eat them as they get off of the train. And then we jump back over to where Taki is, and he keeps pissing off Nastir more and more. So Nastir says, "You know what? Fuck it." He says, "Please." He says, "Please direct your eyes to this projection as I show you the world I will bring to your Earth. And when I'm done with your games, you're gonna die." So Taki says, "Okay, I'll help, but I need this laundry list of stuff to do it. Otherwise, none of this is gonna work." So Nastir sends his demons out to get the stuff, which is not smart because they couldn't even bring you toddlers when you asked for it. They kept bringing you large, fully grown kids. And then, so the demons go out to get the stuff they need. We jump back over to where the teens are, and they make it off the train alive through the sewers. They go through the sewers, come across some motorcycles in the sewers. There must have been Ghost Rider down there or something. And then after fighting a biker gang that was on said motorcycles, they steal the bikes. Then they finally show up at a cemetery where the toddlers are. Artie and Leech, Taki are there. And the exterminators bring the fight to the demons. And the teens get beat down pretty quick. Taki ends up saving them from being killed by Nastir. But Nasir says, you better do what I asked you or everybody's going to die here, including you. So Taki finishes his project. He helps run the spells faster than Nasir could even believe that it could be done. And Nasir says, teleport us to the place where the most negative energy in New York is. So Times Square is where it's at. And then the stolen toddlers are raised into the sky in the shape of a pentagram. And it starts to open a portal between Earth and Limbo. So slowly you can start to see what's on the other side of the portal. Then we jump over to the New Mutants 71. So just recently the New Mutants teleported somewhere. And now they're faced with demons on their way back home. And for context here, when Magik, aka Illyana, teleports, she uses Limbo as a kind of a way station in order to travel, kind of the same way Nightcrawler does. Mm. And because of this, she can't find her way back home. With all these demons here, it's kind of throwing her magic into whack. So when she used to have full control over where she could teleport to and from, it's just kind of tossing everything around. Mm. So they end up running into the demon Sim, who is the supposed leader of Nastir and his demons. And Sim takes Magik's soul sword, which, like I said earlier, is the physical... I don't think I said this, but the soul sword is the physical manifestation of Magik's powers and Limbo itself. And whoever owns the sword becomes the ruler of Limbo. Mm. But she's still... He takes the sword, but she's still able to teleport herself and the team to Belasco's throne room, which is the demon that originally captured her. And he's an evil sorcerer who serves the elder gods. Package. So while they're there, she tells the team of her past of living in Limbo and how she had to kill her version of the X-Men in order to survive while she was in Limbo. And after the story, she teleports them to the past, and then they go to a time where Sim was. When they get to the past, they see a version of her younger self being beaten by Sim as when she was a little baby, and then Nastir was beating Sim for attacking her. Mm. So at one point, Nastir was the higher up above Sim, and then at some point over time, Sim had kind of overtaken him.
Classic bully situation.
Yeah. Fuck bullies. So after that, they teleport again, even further back in time, and she feels like they may have gone back too far. And they see a past version of Nastir, who explains that he now has mastered Belasco's spells and offers to help Magik defeat Sim if she fully embraces her dark child persona. So the past version of Nastir says to Dark Child or to Illyana, if you fully embrace your dark child, your evil side, I'll help you do whatever it takes to get rid of Sim. No problem. And she agrees. And she's instantly rewarded with her soul sword again, and she teleports the team back to Earth. But what she doesn't notice at first is the horde of demons that have come through the open portal as well. And now she realizes that Nastir played her. Not good. Not good at all. And so then we jump over to X Factor 36. Meanwhile, happening concurrently with that last part of the story, she's coming through with the demons, realizes she got played. New York City has gone completely nuts at this point. Every inanimate object is now just eating people. Mailboxes is swallowing people whole. And one of the mailboxes swallowed a person whole. Beast completely rips open the mailbox, and then the person's not there anymore. And then they pick up one of the pieces of mail, and the guy's inside of the stamp. So I don't know what the hell is going on. But right now, Beast and Iceman are fighting a hot dog cart and a fire hydrant. And then a news crew is there, and they capture it all featuring Hank McCoy's girlfriend at the time, Trish, who's a news reporter. But this is the first time she's seen him this is the first time she's seen Hank in his beast form. And she's not happy with what she sees. But before she can relay how she feels to him, a living subway train comes up from the underground, swallows the rest of her news crew whole. But they don't die. They're just sitting on the train. They're just sitting in the seats in the subway car while this thing is just going through the city, eating other people. And then across town, we see Nastir, who is not on demon time right now. He's thinking about how Madelyne Pryor and Jean Grey look very similar, but they're opposite sides of the coin. One with an overwhelming sense of goodness in her heart, which would be Jean, and the other with a growing evil taking over her soul. He then projects an image in front of himself. He projects an image of himself in front of the furious Death Angel, mocking him for what just happened to him and Candy Southern. Angel sees that the background of Nastir's projection is in New York, but never says anything. He just stays silent. And Nastir basically says, suck it up to Angel. She died. Who cares? Deal with it. And then he tries to turn his attention to the influx of toddlers that have just entered. Like, Nastir is just there with the projection, like, hey, Angel, suck it up, deal with it. And then all of a sudden, like, all these babies just start raising up behind him. It's like a backdrop. And it's looking pretty bad over in New York City. But before Angel can say anything, he's like, Angel's already thinking, he's like, I know where you are, I'm coming. And the only thing he says is, I'm coming for you. So now we jump over to ship. And it's flying over water. Cyclops and Jean are headed to New York. Jean is still mind-linked with baby Nathan. She can hear him and feel him screaming for help. And it's becoming increasingly overwhelming for her. Because when Jean came back to life, I didn't say this, but when Jean came back to life, they found her. She didn't have her psychic abilities or telepathic abilities. And they've slowly have been coming back. but she doesn't have like a complete full grasp on all of it. So the fact that she's still mind linked with Nathan is good, but it's also a lot for her to deal with at this point. And so we jump over to Beast and Bobby Drake the Iceman again. And now they're riding on top of the demon subway train. And they finally decide that they want to stop it. They use their powers to do so. With the surprise, the two of them, Trish is helping them put a stop to the subway train. And she's just a normal news reporter.
Trish.
I gotta have the powers of Trish. And she puts aside her feelings for the Beast after she saw that he is actually the same man that he was before, that she has feelings for, just blue and hairy. And so then we jump over to Jean Cyclops again. They're getting closer to New York, and they notice the pentagram forming above the Empire State Building. And before they can even think about what to do next, they're attacked by demons. Their ship is struck down by lightning. It starts falling, but Jean is able to telekinetically land it. But that doesn't mean much because the pentagram in the sky is now opened up. The demons are falling through. This is at the same time where Magik and her team are falling through the portal. So Cyclops is trying to blast away the demons as they're falling through. Not really helping much. Across town, Beast and Iceman see his blast. So they're like, oh, Cyclops is here. Let's go figure it out. And then when Beast and Iceman arrive a few minutes later, Dark Angel shows up at the same time too. And after they clear the wave of these Tory Lanez looking demons, X Factor celebrates the win. And for a second, they're happy, they're joyous. They welcome Dark Angel back into the group. And then they all go run off to go find baby Nathan. And let's see. Trying to figure out if we should call this one here. And no, we got a few more to go.
Oh my God.
Before we get to half. Okay, I put a part in here where it says to split the episode. So we have a few more to go. So now we're at Uncanny X-Men 240. I told you guys this.
How many total were there?
It was like 18 or 19.
Jeez.
Yeah. So X-Men 240. Havoc and Madelyne are having a wonderful night out. All this stuff is going on, right? Havoc and Madelyne right now having a wonderful night by themselves. They're at this place called the Rainbow Room in Manhattan. Halfway through the night is when they realize that no one else is in the room with them. They're at a restaurant. This restaurant is open, but it's just the two of them there for some reason. Out of nowhere, their night is interrupted by a group of obnoxious Ghostbusters setting up equipment to monitor the Empire State Building a mile down the road, which they believe the Empire State Building is growing in size at this point. Sorry. The Rainbow Room owner kicks them out, the Ghostbusters, for being rude and interrupting Havoc and Madelyne's night. When the Ghostbusters enter the elevator, they start to freak out when the walls come to life and start attacking them. Havoc spent some time talking to the owner of the restaurant. Madelyne goes out to check if the Empire State Building is actually growing, and it is. And for some reason, that makes her happier than anything in the world. She's so excited about this happening. And Havoc comes back outside to see her. And they decide, let's just go home. And I don't know which one of them has teleporting powers, but they teleport themselves back to their secret hideout in Australia. So, but for some reason they want to go down to the ground floor first before they do that. They get in the elevator and they see that one of the Ghostbusters' glasses are on the floor. And Madelyne Madelyne notices that the Ghostbusters have now become part of the demon mural on the elevator walls, and she smiles. But at this point, it's pretty clear that Madelyne is fully aware of what's happening around New York City. And so when they get back to Australia, Havoc can see that Madelyne isn't in the best of moods now that they're back. And she tells him she just wants some alone time and teleports away from Havoc. He watches her go, and then he rushes off to their base. And then that was that for that part. And then we see that Madelyne teleported back to New York, to this place called Bard College. And she has taken on her persona as the Goblin Queen at this point.
It's a weird name.
It is. It's an odd name, but yeah, fuck it. And I guess Bard College has a cemetery there, and she walks to the grave of Jean Grey, and she starts to just completely destroy the headstone that's there. Simultaneously, Jean's parents show up, and they think that they're staring at their dead daughter, alive in the flesh. Because they still think their daughter's dead too. And Madelyne looks exactly like her. So they're a little confused. And so they're excited. They think they see their daughter. And this pisses off the Goblin Queen to no end. She turns Jean's parents into demons. And then that's all of a sudden Sinister shows up when that happens. And she asks Sinister, "Where's my son?" And Nister's like, "Okay, come with me. I'll show you." Back in Australia, Colossus is drawing. Psylocke is there posing for a picture. So Colossus is drawing her, but she's in the nude, and Colossus is drawing just a nude portrait of her. They don't touch on any relationship between the two of these people at all. And that doesn't have anything to do with the story going forward. But I had to put that part in there because it was so odd to me. And then inside in Australia, in the X-Men base, they have this machine that they've been using to find anytime the Marauders pop up. And Havoc tries to use it because Madelyne just made some updates to it. And then with his luck, he finally finds the Marauders in the same alley they killed all of those Morlocks from the Mutant Massacre. And meanwhile, while that's going on, Sinister teleports the Goblin Queen to the complex under the orphanage where Jean and Cyclops were not that long ago. As soon as she walks in, she starts getting these flashbacks. She believes that this is the place that she was grown in. So the X-Men go to ambush the Marauders in the Morlock tunnels, taking them by surprise. In the midst of the battle, Colossus is thrown through the top of the tunnel, allowing the Marauders to escape. The Marauders are just that strong. The X-Men have never been able to beat these guys. And so the X-Men follow, but to everyone's surprise, when they reach the surface, the whole city is changed and come to life. But back at the orphanage, the Goblin Queen is ready to rip Nister's head off. When he says, "Don't be mad at me, talk to him." And when he points to the man behind her, it's Mr. Sinister, just waiting there for her. He smiles, and he says, "Hello, Madelyne. I'm your father." And then we go to Exterminators number 4. And then just one more after that, and then we'll call it a day, guys. I get it. It's a long story, though. This is what you guys came here for.
Did they, though?
Yeah. I would hope so. If you made it this far, I can only hope that you came here for this. Okay? So we get over to Exterminators number 4. I'll try to get through these next 2 pretty quickly because I got to use the bathroom. So with demons and the new mutants falling from the sky, Taki scoots over in his wheelchair to destroy the computer that he helped build. But Nastir catches him by the throat before he gets there. Darkchild comes down from the portal, confronts Nastir about lying to her in order to get the portal open. And he's like, I'm a literal demon. What did you expect from me? Why did you expect good from what I was telling you?
Yeah, that is on her.
Yeah. And Taki distracts the demon. So Nastir has the demon watching Taki. Taki ended up distracting the demon sent to watch him so that Artie and Leech can unplug the computer themselves. They do it, but the demon quickly plugs it back in.
It's just plugged?
Yeah. It's a normal outlet.
I thought this was his wheelchair as a computer.
No. He used his wheelchair to help build the computer. So then Nastir then sends a whole horde of demons down to the exterminator kids to kill them all. Taki then turns his wheelchair into a 6-person plane, and he gets all the teens and Artie and Leech, all of them out of there. But the demons have other plans. They chase him down. They crack the cockpit in 2 seconds. But the ship breaks away, and the demons only get Taki and none of the others. So exterminator team member, it's Kids. I don't know why her name is Kids. She decides that she's going to save one of the babies forming the pentagram, and grabs one. But the demon grabs her at the same time, so she drops the baby. So now there's this baby free falling from the sky.
Free falling.
Copyright issues. So the New Mutants exterminators finally decide to help, and they go up for the save. After the baby dropped, it disrupted the pentagram, and for the next 5 pages of the story, I don't see any mention of the baby that fell at all. No one says it was caught. No one says it was saved. Nothing. Both of these teams, X Factor and Exterminators, they're working their ass off, fighting and saving each other from dying. Sim, the demon that I mentioned before, is now fully through the portal, and he and Nastir are talking shit and beating each other's asses. So now these two demons are fighting each other. Nastir gets the upper hand and steals all of Sim's power, becoming the strongest sorcerer in the universe, and then becoming one with the computer that Taki had built him.
Magic and technology?
Yes.
They should never cross.
And they call it the Technovirus. So now Nastir has the Technovirus. You might have heard of it come up in other stories. And yeah, so then Taki reaches the computer. He uses his powers to return back to... Taki uses his powers to turn the Nastir computer back into its normal inanimate object. And this causes an explosion that tears a hole in the sky. So the portal that was up there is already closing because the pentagram is not formed anymore. But Taki turning Nastir computer back into its inanimate object form is completely just throwing things into a whack now. So now there's this rip in the sky that that nobody knows how to fix. And then this supposedly kills Nastir, but Sim, who had most of his power drained, lives on, and then he tries to control the remaining demons that are still there. The exterminators and the New Mutants all get back together and try to mend Taki's horrible wounds because he almost got exploded with the computer shit. And they save all the babies that form the pentagram. But they still never said anything about the baby that dropped. And then we jump over to the New Mutant 72, and then this is where we'll cut it after this. I'm sorry, guys. And then, so now we have, while the exterminators were up in the sky trying to save the babies, the Darkchild was bickering back and forth with Nastir. This is before he blew up, about how he lied to her. He's like, why are you complaining? You have all the power in the world. You can use it to rule Limbo again. I don't see the big deal. Sim shows up and says the original deal he had with Nastir is off, and the Darkchild is his to control. And the New Mutants watch the demons fight the Dark Child. The New Mutants watch the demons fight, and the Dark Child is teleported away in front of them. And when they look up to the sky, they see the exterminators trying to save the babies, and they go up to try to help. Meanwhile, Darkchild is in a place she's never seen before. Everything around her has come to life: garbage cans, chairs, hair clippers, etc. She tries teleporting away, but for some reason she can't control where she goes. So she ends up in this demonic pet shop, and all the pets in there are demons, and they're trying to kill her. So she's like, for some reason, the pets being demons is what really like tips her over the edge, and that's when she goes full demonic Dark Child and kills them all, gets out of the store, and then we got back to the other two teams. They save the babies, like I said, and then after they save the babies, the New Mutants go off to find their newly evil teammate, Dark Child. And we find that Sinister actually didn't die when Taki blew that hole in the sky. He was just infected with the demon disease, the techno virus, like I told you. So that ended up making him stronger than he ever was before. So Taki turning the computer back into an inanimate object did nothing for him because he had already taken what he needed from the computer. And now he can do spells 2 times as fast. So Sinister teleports to wherever Darkchild is, and he tries harder to get her to give into the dark side even more than she already has. She tries to fight it off, but eventually she gives in. Doing so, she becomes wrapped in this glowing silver armor, and she cuts Sinister into 2 at that point. She drops to her knees, calling herself a monster, and neither of them, Sinister or Darkchild, knows that Sim was creeping around the corner the whole time, watching these two go at it. And then that was the end of that issue. So we're going to call it a day here, guys, and we will talk to you guys next week on the second part of Inferno. This long ass story. It was either make the episode shorter or give you guys 3 parts. I don't want to do that. I don't. So thank you guys for listening. Thanks for giving us a few weeks to kind of chill out, get back into it all. We appreciate you guys coming back. Thanks you guys for listening to older episodes while we were gone, and some of the numbers went up on some of the older episodes, which is cool. People are just taking time to kind of get through stuff while we took a break. So thanks for that, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.
Peace.